Parliament proves once again that there is a double standard between Quebec and the rest of Canada. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Well, I don't normally agree with a lot of what the Bloc Québécois has to say, but today and yesterday in Parliament, they actually stood up and made a little bit of sense. They were talking about Quebec, however, while I think that what they had to say really should be applied to all of Canada. What they're talking about is multiculturalism and how it undermines how people integrate into Quebec society, how newcomers integrate. Let's go to Parliament, see what they had to say today, and then we'll talk about it.
The Honourable Member for Drummond. The Prime Minister took advantage of his appearance on the Stephen Colbert show to declare, and I quote, "We are trying to ensure that people keep their culture, keep their language." Mr. Speaker, come on, that's not how integration works in Quebec. In Quebec, we agree on a common core: equality, religious neutrality, and French as the common language. Learning French and adhering to common values are part of integrating into Quebec. Does the federal government realise that its multiculturalism is simply incompatible with Quebec's model of integration? The Honourable Minister for Public Works and Procurement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, my colleague's right. Learning French, integrating into Quebec is being a Quebecer, growing and living in Quebec. That is the privilege of millions of Quebecers, including new immigrants. That's how things work in Quebec. He's right, and we're proud of it. The Honourable Member for Drummond. Ottawa wants to challenge Bill 21 in the courts and weaken secularism in Quebec. Ottawa maintains the religious exception in the Criminal Code. Ottawa refuses to allow the Multi-Culturalism Act to apply to Quebec. And the Prime Minister is telling Americans that everyone who comes to Canada can keep their language and that there is no common language, etc. There's no problem. In short, the federal government is undermining integration, harming secularism, and is hurting the French language. Does this government understand that what it should do is try not to hurt Quebec's ability to live together? The Honourable Minister for Public Works and Procurement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My Bloc Québécois colleague, who I like very much, is just looking to squabble. Countless Quebecers, new Quebecers, arrive in Quebec because Quebec is part of Canada. When we're Quebecer, we are Canadian. And many new arrivals in my riding say that they are proud to be Quebecers and proud to be Canadians.
Ever since the 1970s, when Pierre Elliot Trudeau declared that Canada was a multicultural country, it's kind of been taboo to talk about Canada actually having its own identity, its own culture. We have to accept everybody else's. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong, because I myself live in a multicultural household. My wife is from Japan. We do a lot of Japanese cultural things, but I still have a Canadian culture of my own. Pierre Elliot Trudeau and his son Justin doesn't think so. According to them, we live in the first post-national society. And because of multiculturalism, it was almost like we never had a culture of our own. What is the result of all this? Well, we have a lot of people who don't integrate. A lot of people come to Canada, they get their Canadian citizenship because it's a citizenship of convenience. And then they go back to their old country and they only use their Canadian citizenship when they need to flee because things are getting bad. But now things in Canada are getting bad because people don't see themselves as being Canadian. So we have these conflicts. We have all these protests, marches in Ottawa and Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, people burning our flag because they don't really feel a connection to our country. They don't feel a connection to our culture because we've been told over the years that we don't have a culture. In the US, they recognize that people bring their own cultures with them, and all of the good parts of that culture kind of meld together into a new and unique culture. And that's really how things work. And that's an organic kind of a process. When you start forcing people to do things that is not organic, is not natural, then conflicts occur. So in this particular point, I actually agree with Quebec. They do have their own unique culture, but guess what? all of the other provinces and territories do as well. And they should be allowed to explore that and allow those cultures to grow. What I found kind of disturbing, though, is the comment that Quebec is not governed by the Multicultural Act, just the rest of Canada is. So that's a double standard, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that their system is 100% correct. You have government officials essentially dictating how the culture grows or what the culture is in Quebec. That's not good either. Everything should be natural, should be organic. And no, I'm not a hippie. I just recognize kind of the natural order of things, how things develop and how things grow. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to know what you think. Put your comments down below. And while you're at it, please like this video, share with your friends and on social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so you never miss another video. I'd also like to invite you to join me on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific time for my live stream, where you're invited to join in on the conversation. Also, if you would like to get your firearms license, also known as your PAL, there's a course you need to take. And as it happens, I offer that course. I teach that course. So if you're on Vancouver Island or will be for any length of time, I invite you to look me up and I will be glad to teach you that course. You can find a link in the description of this video to my website where you can sign up for a course that I teach. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.